Ceann Comhairle. The press at the time in 1919 wrote of the tomfoolery of the Sinn Féin Parliament in Dublin, the stage play at the Mansion House, a futile, unreal event, and if it were to be taken seriously, it could be viewed as a momentous event. But it was a momentous event. Ireland coming out of the shackles of 800 years of colonial domination, declaring Irish independence, a democratic programme in accordance with principles of liberty, equality, justice for all. A first Dáil that went on to make progress in setting up working departments, progress in local government, in finance, in raising a national loan, and in administering justice. I believe the most significant outcome was the start of 100 years of democracy, uninterrupted, so Ireland did not experience that chaos, the conflict, the devastation that was suffered by so many countries, and still today, when they too escaped from the domination of colonialism. The democratic programmes promised so much for children, for the poor, the natural resources of soil and seas for the people, the right of every citizen to an adequate share of the produce of our labour. It appeared that the social revolution was coming along with the political revolution, especially when the programme affirmed, as has been quoted today, that all right to private property must be subordinated to the public right and welfare. So what has happened? We know the housing, the homeless reality. How many did we pass on the street today on our way here who were begging, who were sleeping? How many did Brother Kevin feed today at the Capuchin Centre? We know the inequalities, the difficulties in our health system. And we have so many examples of those who have been left behind in the intervening years. Those with disabilities, physical and intellectual, the travelling community, migrants, refugees, those who have been waiting years for justice. And we look at the way we have been dealing with our environment and with animals. And then some of the ironies. Countess Markovic, Minister for Labour, but how many more years before there was another woman minister? And how many years for all of the inequalities relating to women were really addressed? Éireann, we know about the Dáil proceedings and the commitment to Irish. Ach, the rare céile, bhí sé sulir, nach raibh an rialtas ón am sin in Dáil Éireann féin Gaeilge. Cur a Gaeilge bhí a gceist the gcónaí I rith na blianta, cur a Gaeil inis. Another irony, the loss of the subject of history as a core subject in the junior cert curriculum. And unless it is addressed, imagine we will have young Irish people leaving school without having learned about these events that we are commemorating. This commemoration also reminds us of the importance of protecting our independence, our sovereignty, our neutrality. It's interesting to read how previous commemorations were used to control the historical narrative and were used as political tools. So coming into commemorating the War of Independence and the Civil War, difficult times, Irish people killing Irish people, I think there is a need for reflection, for conversation, and perhaps an opportunity for the arts to lead that reflection in the way that the Abbey Theatre did at the beginning of the decades with their Theatre of Memory and Theatre of War. Yes, progress has been made since the first meeting of the first Dáil. Ireland has taken her place among the nations of the world, and Ireland is respected. And yes, I'm glad I'm an Irish woman living in Ireland and not in many other countries throughout the world. And yes, I'm glad we have a president who doesn't want to build walls between communities and people. But, and there are buts, Fáibeanna, Jaacreachtaí, Dúchláin, which mean that we need a new vision. One that moves away from complacency and conservatism, away from measuring everything in economic terms, away from the rhetoric of idealism, into realising the ideals and the principles of social justice and fairness as set out in the first Dáil that we are commemorating, and making them the reality of life in Ireland, realising the Sustainable Development Goals. The Oireachtas has to lead the way. We have to challenge ourselves on the kind of Ireland that we want. And that means a different vision, a better vision. It means more wisdom, a better awareness of those who struggle, and a real concern for humanity. A true commemoration of the first Dáil. And just to finish, Cogardas the Gachéine, a bhíag ober, Dín Díhalach, I dros go méid an Comóra sin a gcuin inniu. Gur míle maith.